Hey, what is going on, everybody? In today's video, I want to talk all about the rumors surrounding that supposed bio raid team that we might be getting, or not in this case, and why we don't actually need one anymore because the Symbiotes are actually performing way better than expected in Doom Raid 2. Actually, probably much better than they did even in Doom Raid 1 somehow. And why I still think that new Symbiotes are likely on the way given this fact. So we're going to be talking all things bio and Symbiotes in this video, a little bit about Doom Raid 2, where I have my Symbiotes at currently, and who I think might be coming to the game. I'm still someone I've mentioned before, and I'm still holding out that this is going to be the case, despite the missed opportunity this month to release them, and instead we got Weapon X. But, oh well, I think there is still a chance. So without further ado, let's get this show on the road. Okay, so what I have behind me or beside me is, yes, it looks weird. It looks a bit Inception, because this is actually my video that I did for my Doom Raid 2 bio full clear lane, and you can actually check that video out on my channel. But I was just very shocked. The reason why I'm bringing this up, I was very shocked at how easy it was to clear these nodes. Now, compared to Bio Doom Raid 1, I don't know if it's just the enemy differences, but, I managed to get through this entirely without losing a single person. I'm pretty sure. Like, I one-shot all of these, I think. I mean, there were times that I maybe have timed out with the Doom Raid 2 boss. But all in all, like, I actually did really well. Yeah, now it's double Boilon here in the background, so that looks a bit weird. Anyways, the whole point is that, I'm pretty sure I cleared this. Yeah, I cleared this. So, this was, granted, my Symbiotes are at like 750k, and they're actually my second strongest team. But given how tough it can be in Doom Raid 1, I was very, very surprised with how easy it was, I think, to clear this. And actually, my entire alliance, who normally struggles with some other nodes, they actually did pretty well on this. Maybe the arrangement of characters were such that it just wasn't that difficult, but, I was really surprised how well they performed. And that kind of makes me think that, do we really need another bio raid team? A different bio raid team that's not Symbiotes? I don't know, because I've been told that you can actually clear Bio Doom Raid 2 all the way up to, like, 2.3, I don't know how many difficulties, I think it's 2.3, with Symbiotes at like 800k plus, and you can still do it. And I don't know how hard it is necessarily, but, I guess my question is, if it's this easy already, why do you need a new team? Yes, I guess they would make it easier so that you can clear it at like 100 to 150k less, but I feel like this is completely different than, when they tried to sell us the skill solution, or even the new warriors for Mystic, because this team actually works. Now, I will say on the flip side, I find that mutants are actually one of the hardest ones in Doom Raid 2, and they might actually sell us a new raid team sooner than they might sell us a bio team at this point, because I did actually, even the boss, like, I didn't one-shot it, I did time out because it is quite lengthy, but, there was never a point where I was actually having problems with this all the way to the end. I don't think, just looking back through... Oh, did I lose? No. I don't think there was ever a point that any of my characters ever died doing this. So, at the end of the day, the Symbiotes are still performing very well. Now, when it comes to Doom Raid 2, I would normally recommend all of your teams to be at least 650k anyways. Realistically, probably tier 15, bare minimum tier 14, and compensate with levels. When I did that video, my Symbiotes were level 81, I think, maybe 82, and then they had Blue ISO 1. I don't think they had Blue ISO 2 at the time. Now I've upgraded them a little bit more because I'm feeling a little bit more confident that they're going to stay as a team. Now, that being said, because I was talking about Symbiote extra characters, I think we all know who I was talking about, and I don't know necessarily who's gonna be dumped and who's not gonna be dumped. Realistically, though, it's not gonna be Symbiote Spider-Man, because he's kind of what holds the glue together on this team with his passive, because in Raids in Dark Dimension, they all get drained, all that. This is all really, really important. I really don't think he's getting dumped. Now, I do want to say they really need to make him actually farmable outside of the Milestone Orb 2. I did do a video on this some time ago, and it was, I've done 2 videos on this, I think, actually, because it's not fair for mid-game players, and even players who just want to get that 6-star or 7-star on him, because that makes a big difference in terms of the overall power level. that it'll be very hard to do that in any reasonable time whatsoever. They need to make him farmable, especially if they're going to continue on using the symbiote team. They need to, at this point, make him farmable. If they're going to bring in a new character, great, but they need to make Symbiote Spider-Man and realistically Anti-Venom as well. This was a big kick in the dick, I think, you know, because Anti-Venom not being farmable, he is, I would say, the second most important character next to Symbiote Spider-Man. If you don't have Symbiote Spider-Man, there's no team. Now, who do I think is going to be getting kicked out? I think it's probably going to be Venom. From what I experienced in Doom Raid 2, I think Carnage's passive still is pretty good with the 30% speed bar for self and all symbiote allies and the heal, but it's mainly the speed bar thing and spreading with his basic. I think all of this is really important. Now, I think Venom is, unfortunately, because I have 6 red, is probably the most likely to get kicked for another character. That's because while he has a decent kit, it's not something that couldn't be replaced with another better character who could have a much bigger kit and all of this into one. You know, you could have an ability block and a spread on one skill at this point. Given how big the kits are with characters like Deathpool and so on, they could easily combine, you know, 2 of these skills into one skill. And things like the passive, which is what's important for him, that could easily be on someone else's passive and then more. You know, you do get the 100% focus, but that's only for him. It's not like he's giving that to the entire team. So that's a completely different story. And I wish there was, you know, I wish there was a passive that gave % focus to everyone on the team or all the symbiotes. That would be really important. Now, the question is, who do I think that is going to be replaced by? Well, I think some of you may have guessed that already. Yes, we are talking about this again. Null the King in Black. I am still holding out that this is going to happen. Now, I was hoping that he was going to be a legendary instead of Omega Red. And actually, so much so that I'm pretty sure all of the other content creators, including Valley Flyin and Reminax and some of the other ones, also mentioned Null as well. I think, you know, getting Omega Red, I'm not sure if anyone expected Weapon X to come at this time. So what does this mean? Does this mean that there is still a chance for Null? I think so. I think that maybe there was a switcheroo that happened. Who knows? You know, I think that this was a severe missed opportunity given that we're in the October Halloween season. I think this makes a little bit more sense of a character release, but hey, doesn't mean that he won't still come. I remember that there was an interview with Cerebro, I believe it was from Philosopher, but correct me if I'm wrong, where Cerebro was asked, you know, basically how things are going with the Bio Raid team, and whether or not that's on the dev team's mind or not. And at the time, they seemed a bit, I believe by the reaction from Cerebro, was a bit taken aback that he didn't really think that there was any problem with that. And maybe that's because they had Doom Raid 2 in mind and planned, and then that's why they're like, well, don't worry about it, because Doom Raid 2 is going to come, and Symbiotes are going to be just fine. And so because of the difficulty that people were having in Doom Raid 1.1 with Symbiotes, and honestly, I even hate Doom Raid 1 regular with the Bio Boss Node. It's a pain in the ass. You know, even though I can clear it, I just hate doing it. And oftentimes it takes me 2 shots. Even still, you know, it's still a pain in the ass. So I'm hoping that they bring out Null. He is the Symbiotes creator, the King in Black. Had a very popular King in Black comic series line last year, I believe. I have it, actually. And he's really, really cool. Now, we do, of course, ongoing right now, we do have the Venom 2 movie. Now, I don't know if they're going to do any tie-ins, you know, later on, maybe a little bit after the fact, with another symbiote. I don't know. Or maybe they're going to do a branch-off team, you know, and take Venom and Carnage out. I think you could easily take out Carnage, I guess, as well, and add another symbiote in. I've been saying that for a long time. I think that with Symbiote Spider-Man, Scream, and Anti-Venom, I think they're very likely to stay on the team, though, and we're probably going to see replacements for the others. I still think that this would make the most sense, given how well they perform now in Doom Raid 2. All they need is just a little extra shove, and they'll be even better. That being said, Doom Raid 2 Bio, not the hardest in the world right now, in terms of the other lanes, which are a bit more difficult, in my opinion. But yeah, I do want Null to come. I do think it's going to happen. He's a very popular character. He's been in like every other mobile game at this point. He's in Marvel Future Fight, I'm pretty sure. He's in Marvel Contest of Champions. So those are the main ones anyways, that are out right now. So I don't see why he wouldn't actually come. So fingers crossed. I think that's what's going to happen. And with relation to the Symbiotes team in general, like I said, they do perform really, really well in Doom Raid 2. A lot higher than what I expected. I honestly thought it was going to be pretty tough. And then when I ran it, I was like, oh, this is actually not that hard after all. But, you know, let's talk, though, while we're at it, let's talk about the other bio characters, because I wanted to bring this up. And what some of the other content creators were suggesting would happen, and I honestly don't know if that's the case or not. You know, maybe they know something I don't. That's a good possibility. But I just feel like we're not there yet. I mean, there's two things. One was that Winter Soldier being required for Omega Red. So a lot of people were suggesting that Winter Soldier was going to get some sort of rework. And I have to say that I don't think that someone being used for a legendary event necessarily means that they're going to be getting a rework. I think that Scopely has done a lot of weird-ass shit in the past when it comes to requiring characters for things, and I don't think that Secret Avengers plus Nick Fury plus Winter Soldier automatically means that Winter Soldier, who obviously isn't the best in the world, is going to get a rework. But let's entertain this for a moment. The rework and the team that they were suggesting that was going to come was none other than the Thunderbolts. Now, if you haven't heard of the Thunderbolts, it's typically the team that is led by General Ross, who is also Red Hulk. So I don't remember what exactly they said in terms of... It was told to me by some of my Discordees about this Thunderbolts thing and the Thunderbolts rumor for the Bio Raid team, but obviously Winter Soldier was going to be part of this. Now, on top of that, maybe we would probably be getting at least 3 new characters, I would imagine, including General Ross, Thaddeus, Red Hulk. That would make sense, but in terms of other Bio characters on this list, I don't really remember. Maybe the Hulk as well, was he added on that list, but he's not actually a Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts is typically a villain-esque team, so, you know, Baron Zemo was actually a member of the Thunderbolts as well, even though he's Skill, which is not entirely possible. It doesn't have to be an entire bio-based team. But I was thinking that they were going to do more with some of these other characters, including, like, I don't know, Young Avengers even. A lot of them are bio-based, and the Hulk, or maybe like a Gamma-based team. That's originally what I thought, actually, was a Gamma-based team. I was thinking characters like Incredible Hulk, She-Hulk, 2 Hulks, I know. The Leader, if you guys know The Leader, the guy with the big green head, and he would be kind of like the support for the team, and then General Ross as Red Hulk, of course, and then Maestro is what I was thinking. I was going to do a video on this, talking about how I thought a Maestro-led Gamma team was going to come to the game, and I think there was some hints on this a little while back as well, and then, I don't know, Thunderbolts rumors started coming out. I don't know how reliable those are, either of them, to be honest. I'm not going to do a video on the supposed Gamma team anymore, because I just, now that I've seen how the Symbiotes actually perform in battle in Doom Raid 2, I am less confident that another team is going to come out to replace them, because I don't know if they need to. Like I said, we could get one more character in the form of Null, and that would really help, and that would make it easier, because they do like to sort of add new characters to make things easier. You know, basically like when Deathpool came out, and Doom Raid 1 became significantly easier just with that character alone. So someone like Null, or even another symbiote, would probably be enough to make everything else significantly easier just with one character, assuming that they combine all the stuff together for them to get there. Now, I don't know what the likelihood of that is, but, you know, in the meantime, I still think that symbiotes are safe to level, because I think that as long as you can clear all of the new content, then why not? So the only problem here, of course, is the shard availability on Anti-Venom and Symbiote Spider-Man, and for that matter, not a lot of people like getting shards for Carnage anymore, because he is simply in the War Store, where a lot of other important characters are to farm, especially legendary required characters like Maria Hill, like Longshot, like Ghost, you know, characters that you do need for some of the more recent legendaries, and it's not fun to have to put shards into Carnage for that, which I don't really recommend unless you absolutely have to. So I'm holding out that there's going to be some replacements for some of these older characters, and really I would just work on these 3 if you happen to be in a position to get Symbiote Spider-Man unlocked. Now, depending on what level you are, my baby account, for example, doesn't even have Symbiote Spider-Man or Anti-Venom unlocked, so I'm kind of shit out of luck there. Anyway, so there's not much I can do. That being said, I'm nowhere near Doom Raid on that account, so it doesn't really matter, I guess. So I'm hoping that there is other options, whether it's 1 more character or 2 more characters. I want it to at least beat Null, the King in Black. There are some other options that people have been throwing around, either Toxin or Riot. Those are probably the main ones from what I understand. Riot was in the first Venom movie, I think. And then Toxin, I heard, actually was in... I haven't watched the second Venom movie yet, so please don't mention any huge spoilers here. If they're in it, fine, you can mention it, but don't say anything more, please. I will probably see the movie at some point. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to let you guys know symbiotes are safe to build, but do prioritize Symbiote, Spider-Man, Scream, and Anti-Venom just in case. We do get some extra characters to replace these two here, but if you have lots of resources, then feel free. I wouldn't put in any of this stuff, you know, towards Gear Tier 16. And if you haven't put them to Gear Tier 15 yet either, I would maybe hold back from that, and maybe you don't need to. But, you know, do feel safe to put gear into Symbiote, Spider-Man, Scream, and Anti-Venom. At this point, I think that's fine. Thunderbolts, General Ross, I don't know. I don't think they need it, personally, but we'll see, I guess, in the patches to come. So that's the end of the video, guys. And until next time, stay safe and healthy. I'll see y'all later. Boilon signing out.